Welcome back, everyone. Grab your popcorn because today's story is packed with shocking twists, emotional moments, and secrets that change everything. Let's jump right in. Tell you what, folks, I've been following General Hospital for a good long while now, and let me share something that's really been on my mind lately. Things are brewing in Port Charles that feel like a big storm is about to hit, especially between Portia Robinson and Curtis Ashford. From what I've seen, another custody battle is shaping up on ABC, and this one hits close to home because it's about their unborn baby. Those two used to have something special, but right now their relationship is falling apart faster than I can keep up with, and it doesn't look like they'll be able to raise this child together peacefully unless something big changes real soon. Curtis has been acting out in ways that just make my blood boil a little. He's been harassing poor Isaiah Gannon nonstop, even going so far as to threaten to hit the man again. Every time that comes on screen, I sit there in my chair, shaking my head and muttering to myself, "Good Lord, son, what are you doing?" Portia looks completely worn down by it all. You can see the exhaustion in her eyes, bless her heart. She's tired of the constant fighting and the way Curtis keeps pushing his way into everything. It makes a man like me, who's been married and raised kids, feel for her deeply. Nobody deserves to live like that, always walking on eggshells. What's really got me thinking is how Portia is starting to look back on her past decisions. She kept the truth about Trina from Curtis for so many years, and back then it tore her up inside with guilt. She regretted it, something fierce. But now, I can understand why she's beginning to see that choice as a kind of gift, a way to protect her daughter from all this mess. Watching Curtis behave this way has made her realize maybe she was right all along to keep that secret. It's a heavy thought, isn't it? A mother doing what she believes is best for her child, even if it means carrying a burden alone for years. Of course, she can't pull the same thing with this new baby. Curtis already knows she's pregnant with his child, so there's no hiding it this time. That truth is out there in the open, and it's making everything 10 times more complicated. I keep thinking about how different life would be if Curtis could just calm down and focus on what's truly important. Instead, he's becoming way too controlling, and the baby hasn't even been born yet. Can you imagine what it'll be like once the little one arrives? If he's acting like this now, how's he going to handle sleepless nights, doctor's visits, and all the everyday struggles of raising a child? It reminds me of so many real families I've known over the years, right here in America. You work hard, you fall in love, you try to build something solid, but then pride and anger get in the way and everything starts to crack. I've seen good men lose their way because they couldn't let go of control. And good women like Portia who end up carrying the weight of the family on their shoulders. That's why this storyline feels so real to me. It's not just soap opera drama. It's about love, regret, protection, and fighting for your children's future. Portia is a strong woman, no doubt about it. She's been through more than her share of heartache on that show, and I truly hope she finds the courage to stand up for herself and this baby. She deserves a little peace and a chance to raise her children without all this tension hanging over them like a dark cloud. As for Curtis, I wish he'd take a good long look in the mirror and ask himself what kind of father he wants to be. The kind who protects and supports, or the kind who pushes everyone away. Man, these characters have a way of pulling you in, don't they? I'll be right there on my couch, coffee in hand, watching every episode to see how this custody situation unfolds. General Hospital has been around for decades, and stories like this are exactly why it still matters. It shows us that no matter how fancy the town or how dramatic the lives, we're all just folks trying to do right by our families. It makes you hug your own loved ones a little tighter at the end of the day. What a ride this show continues to be. I tell you what, folks, I've been hooked on General Hospital for ages, and after watching the episode that aired on June 10th, I just had to sit back in my chair and let out a big sigh. Portia Robinson finally reached her breaking point and made one of the biggest decisions I've seen in a long time. She basically cut off all contact with Curtis Ashford. Clean and simple. No more talking, no more back and forth. From now on, if Curtis wants any information about their unborn baby, he's got to go through her doctors. Can you believe that? Portia doesn't see any reason to deal with him directly anymore. And honestly, after everything, I can't blame her one bit. That poor woman has been carrying so much on her shoulders. You could see it building up, episode after episode. Curtis kept pushing and pushing until he drove her right past her limit. Now all the lines of communication are completely shut down, and I have a feeling things are going to get even rockier for him. It makes my heart ache a little because I know how messy these family situations can get in real life. I've seen good people in my own circle go through similar heartbreaks where love turns into walls and silence. What really has me thinking is how this is all going to play out with the custody of that baby. Portia protecting herself and her child like this shows just how strong she is, but it also means the road ahead for co-parenting looks mighty tough. Curtis is over there hoping he can work out some kind of plea deal or find a way to beat the charges if his case goes to trial. He's probably dreaming about walking free and being there for his child the way he imagines. But let me tell you, even if he manages to stay out of jail, that doesn't mean he'll get to raise this baby however he wants. Not after the way he's been acting, and not with Portia drawing such a clear, firm line in the sand. Bless her heart, she's thinking about what's best for that little one before it even arrives. Hiding the truth about Trina all those years used to eat her up with regret, but now she's seeing things differently, especially with Curtis showing this controlling side so strongly. This new baby is already bringing out the worst in their conflicts, and with no direct contact, I worry the custody battle could turn into something long and painful. It reminds me of those old country sayings my grandpa used to share. You reap what you sow. Curtis sowed a lot of anger and pressure, and now he's facing the harvest. Watching this unfold makes me reflect on my own life and the families I've known here in America. Raising kids is hard enough when two parents get along. When trust is broken and one person shuts the door completely, it takes real wisdom and patience to figure out what's fair for the children. Portia seems determined to stand her ground, and I admire her for that. She's been through enough drama already without adding more stress while carrying a baby. Man, these stories on General Hospital sure do pull at your heartstrings. I'll be right there watching the next episodes, coffee in hand, wondering how Curtis plans to fix this mess and whether Portia will ever soften her heart again. It's the kind of real, emotional drama that feels true to life, teaching us that sometimes you have to protect your peace and your children even when it hurts. What a powerful turn this storyline has taken. I can't wait to see where it leads next. I tell you what, folks, even if Curtis manages to dodge a long stay in Pentonville, Portia still holds plenty of cards in her hand. That strong woman can take real steps to keep him from playing a big part in the baby's life if she chooses to. From what I've seen, she could push hard for full custody, and with the way Curtis has been losing control lately, I reckon she's got a good chance of winning. All that harassing of Isaiah, the threats, and the constant pressure, it paints a picture that no judge would look kindly on. It makes me nod my head and think, Portia's finally protecting what matters most. Lord have mercy. If Portia goes that route, Curtis is going to be madder than a wet hen, especially with Isaiah stepping up, looking like he's ready to take on a fatherly role himself. That is hitting Curtis deep, I imagine. A man who already feels like he's losing everything might explode even more when he sees another guy trying to fill his shoes. But you know, sometimes a mother has to do what she has to do. Portia's been carrying this weight for a long time, and after cutting off all direct contact, it feels like she's done waiting for Curtis to change. This whole mess could spark another round of serious trouble in Port Charles. Custody fights are never pretty, and with a new baby on the way, the stakes are sky high. I keep thinking about all the real families I've known over the years, good people who let anger and pride tear apart what should have been a happy home. It reminds me of that old saying we have here in America, blood is thicker than water, but sometimes you still have to draw a line to keep the peace for the little ones. Portia seems ready to draw that line clear and strong. Man, these storylines on General Hospital sure do pull you in and make you reflect on life. I'll be sitting right there with my coffee, watching every episode to see what big news comes next. This conflict between Portia and Curtis looks like it's only going to heat up more in the months ahead. And I have a feeling there are some major twists waiting just around the corner that could leave Curtis even more furious. At the end of the day, these characters feel like old friends after all these years of watching. It warms my heart and breaks it a little too, seeing them struggle with the same joys and heartaches we all face in real life. I sure hope Portia finds the peace she deserves, and that little baby comes into a world filled with more love than fighting. General Hospital still knows how to keep us coming back, doesn't it? Can't wait to see how this all unfolds.